doing? And I'm here today with Matt.
Hello.
Yeah, I've got your name right.
You did.
And you're in charge of the audio on this game, and so I've got to imagine it's quite an impossible and difficult job creating the world of Warhammer.
It's not difficult. It's exciting but it's challenging and fun and a little scary, but in a good way. So I'm very aware of that it's a huge genre and a huge thing for a lot of people. People very attached to it. So I've just got to make sure that when I'm putting a sound in, every sound needs to be something that they think, yeah, I like. Well, I guess the sounds job is person they don't even have to think about it when they're playing the game necessarily. Yeah. If they're picking up on too many different things, then I'm not really doing my job.
I was hoping you were going to say that. I know I hate to whip the mic away from you there, but I was hoping you say that because I think one of the best things about sound when you listen to any game is that you don't pay attention to it. It's there, and the things that do pop up that make you go, "Wow, that's amazing!" Like a dragon roar or a gun firing and stuff like that. That's the things that you should be concentrating on. The things that you do get excited about. For me anyway. Yeah. So, do you? I've got to say this. I've got to ask. Have you ever played any of the tabletop games?
Have I played any? No, I haven't. And I'll be completely honest, but that's not through. It just passed me by because of kind of what I was into. I was kind of more into sports and things, but I was a massive video gamer as a kid. So I started out from a very young age. And I've had pretty much everything from going through. So although not a tabletop game in that way, massive gamer. So I kind of know what's needed. I hope.
Yeah. No, I think you're going to do. From what I've seen, it looks fantastic.
Great.
Right. So let's talk about audio. Okay, so how important is audio to this game?
Well, audio is as important as the visuals because it goes without saying that if you get it wrong, then like we said, it's going to be noticed. So it has to be right for it just to be for you to be immersed in it. It's a funny, strange time with film and with gaming in total because the word epic is used a lot, and these games are notoriously epic games. But the problem is that if you throw epic at everything all the time, the effect is gone. So you need dynamics, and you need to know when something is epic, it's going to be epic. But when there's nothing, there's no point throwing. You know, the British Bake Off over here, they'll throw epic music over someone putting icing on a cake. Yeah. So it loses its kind of magic. Yeah. So it's kind of it's using it the right way. Less is more, I guess. I'm looking at in this game.
I've got to say, I love the fact that you've used the Bake Off in the analogy.
Well, it's something from where we are. The Bake Off is kind of a big thing for a lot of people, not me specifically. But TV has got taken epic music and using it in such kind of ridiculous context that it makes people laugh. So it's using music in the right and correct way, and dynamics. The dynamics need to be there. And we're kind of messing around with adaptive music at the moment where you have different layers, and it's kind of, they use that all the time in games and have been for 20 odd years. So so when you're in a different environment, different things happen, more music will come in, but it will fade away when it's not needed. With an open play game that this is, it's really important that in terms of sound, the weather environment and things is moving around, and you're more immersed in that rather than just having music blaring at you for every second, because you're going to be, on an open play game, it's going to get fatiguing to your ears if you've got that all the time, something which we're kind of finding out as we're going along.
What's been the sort of major challenges for you in this? Because you're recreating a lot of sort of like strange sound effects and obviously a lot of things that don't exist. So what have been the major challenges for you?
I think with what you learn very quickly is the sound that you think is going to work doesn't necessarily work. And there are many fantastic Foley artists out there, the guys who create these sound design guys, and invariably they're not the sound used at what you think. A perfect example is I read about a guy who went to a medieval reenactment and recorded a catapult, and he said that when they recorded it, it was just completely, didn't do the job at all. It just sounded rubbish. So you end up using different things, and that's kind of. But in terms of things like monsters and sounds and stuff, that's where you can have a lot of fun, and it can be, you can have. Yeah, you just think outside the box, basically. It's a really fun job, and yeah, I've got a lot to do, but it's kind of fun doing it because once you do one thing, it's I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. It kind of just stems off into different areas.
Have you brought any friends in yet to make noises for you?
Yeah, I have a friend who's a big guy and a lovable chap, really big. Kind of has a pirate kind of feel about him, and I did have him bellowing. And I'm using the word bellowing certain noises from my studio, but it does kind of there's a bit of bleed going on, sort of for sound coming outside. So we did have neighbours kind of wondering what was going on when he was shouting certain words like help and fire at the top of his voice, and they're wondering whether they should call the police. So that's kind of where we're at, but that's part of the fun, and just trying not to laugh at certain words and things. But it's all about kind of, getting the people to immerse themselves in the game, not necessarily think about the sound, as I said before.
So out of just make sure I put the mic at my mouth.
Yeah.
How important are the atmospherics in this as well? Because I can imagine, are we going to hear like on quiet days where we're just sailing along, are we going to hear the ropes and the yawning of the ship and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly that. And it's a case of. What's great is that there is loads of, for someone who's starting out, if I was giving advice, then there's loads of footage out there, whether there be games, films, where you can just watch and you analyse and you take on board, want a better phrase, you take on board.
I've wanted to fit in loads of maritime stuff into it, so you're doing really well.
So it's really, it's really important just to know what people are used to. Because and then that helps, and then that's what they're expecting. So you're right that when there's not much going on, you want to hear the waves, but not necessarily crashing waves if it's normal. So it's about finding the right sounds for the right environment. But you're right about little things like the sound of ropes pulling and just it's the little things usually which are more effective that you wouldn't expect, and if they weren't there, you'd notice it.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really exciting. Okay, so I'm quite excited by this, actually, to be fair. Well, it's nice to see people that are enthused about what they do for a living also, and about stuff. For us, it's more of a case of, I think, people that play the games and that are very involved within the gaming side of stuff, that they know that the people that are making the games are really enthused by what they're doing as well. Because I think when you get someone that sort of goes, yeah, I just did this and I did that, you sort of go, oh, okay, that's great. But it's nice talking to people that are really enthused by it. Okay, so we talked about like the audio side within voices and stuff like that. Now, there's a lot of different races in there. How hard has it been to try and create sounds for races that obviously don't exist, like the rats, and the undead and stuff like that, and obviously the lizard. I don't know if there's any lizard men in it yet, but or the chaos stuff. How hard has it been to recreate stuff like that?
Well, we're still I'm working on a lot of the monster sounds at the moment, so that's kind of everything is kind of in progress, and we're often darting from one bit because one bit needs to be doing it. I would say that it's kind of similar. It's also about trying to merge in the music as well, because the music is part of it. So I'm not only doing the sound, I'm doing the music. That's kind of what. So they've just said, Matt, do it all. And it's like, really? Okay. But I think they trust me with it, or else they wouldn't maybe do it. So I'm a musician first and foremost, and so that's kind of that. And I kind of fell into just sort of finding sound effects and things as part of that of being into.
Are you in a band?
I was in a band, but and I'm a musician now, and I do for different things for different people and stuff.
Okay. So you can't plug an album or?
No, not at the moment, because I'm too busy doing the game. It's good to have a background, obviously, as a musician if I'm doing the music. So that's kind of going to be more part of it. I think when you talk about the races and certain things, I think that the music is going to help that, and it's about how they merge between having the sound and the sound, the music and the sound effects, and how they merge together. If you see what I mean, that creates everything as one.
Is there going to be sort of like music for each race? So if we're going along and we run into elves, are we going to suddenly have like elven-ish type music in the background, or dwarven drums, or?
We definitely wanted, I think, speaking at the beginning, we definitely wanted it kind of tribal. So it's kind of, because there are obviously, aren't there? There's different kind of tribes. So they've all got to have their own kind of thing going on. But within the game, like I said, less is more. So you could easily have, themes and things for everything. But what we need to be careful is just not throwing stuff in there for a reason, or else it just becomes like 20 tracks of something that doesn't even need to be in there. So there will be points of music where it's important, but. You're right that different things, but then you sort of sit there and we sit there, so Elvish music, what do we think of that? Without going down like the 50s rock and roll thing, with the play old words, we're trying to look for Elvish music, so with a slight speech impediment or something. So
I'm sorry, but just, all of a sudden now I've got quiffs and greased back hair. With pointy ears, which is not an image I need. Okay, so sorry, go on, carry on.
You're right that everyone needs kind of a, if you've got the Skavens or something, then it's going to be a lot more dramatic. You're not going to have happy-go-lucky music over that point. And the game itself is obviously not. It's not a party, is it? Let's face it. It's a very dark game, which is amazing to work on. So again, it's about kind of respecting each of the kind of the tribes that they are, and finding a little something to give them their own identity and their own character. But we kind of spoke about having it's almost like a war of music. So if there's chaos fighting, say, a man like a normal sort of kind of ship, you would then have kind of a battle. So it would be certain sounds that come from that tribe, maybe merging and mixing with the sounds of another one. So they're almost clashing in music as well as actual visuals. That's the plan.
Yeah.
We'll see how well we do at the end of it, but that's the plan.
That sounds fantastic, though. So there's a lot of options here for this game being quite an epic. I hate, like you're saying, I'm not going to use the word lightly, but it's going to be quite a mass epic game, because you're travelling around all these different continents and across the seas and stuff like that. So it gives the option to be quite immense in like not only in visuals but in sound effects and audio and music as well.
Yeah, that's it. And when you say about the word epic, you said it's only epic if there's quiet. So it's quiet and loud. So you have to have both to make it epic. That's kind of, I'm labouring the point there, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So it has the scope to be many, many things, and we've just got to get it right. We've got to really think about what's going to work and make sure when we're play testing it and things, it actually works. And it's a case of trying things and making mistakes, and you move on. You learn from your mistakes, and when you do a project like this, as I think any person who's making a game will tell you, or anything kind of a project of this size, you've got to try things, see if they work. If not, you try again and you'll learn from it.
That's absolutely brilliant. I've got to say thanks very much for joining us today. It was absolutely beautiful talking to you. Guys, listen, you take care of yourselves, and I'm going to see you very, very soon. See you soon. Bye.